Not the start they were asking over in Schalke and Werder Bremen as they opened up their account with, of course, not the 3 points that they were looking for. But can they bounce back in match number 2? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. We're looking forward to match number 2 over in the Zweite Bundesliga. That's right, over in Germany. And we'll get to that in just one second. If you do, where have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe and get your bang out today with all things Zweite Bundesliga related, Black and Rose related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one Ruski. That's right, of course. The likes of Dynamo Dresden opening up their campaign with a fantastic start. But of course, some of the bigger boys, the ones that you would expect to get promoted or in that mix, had a bit of a false start. We'll elaborate on that in, of course, 1 second. Of course, if you're new, smash your subscribe and get your bang up today with all things Blackburn Rose related and all that kind of good stuff. Of course, and if you want to support the channel in a way, you could become the next member of the gang. That is the Patreons. Check out the links down below, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course, Patreon. Here we go then, lads. Here we go. Let's recap day 1, match 1 over in the Zweite Bundesliga. Here we go, of course, recap those glorious matches that opened up the campaign, including Schalke's 3-1 loss to Hamburger SV. That's why I actually went with a 1-1 draw myself, so not great. I didn't anticipate a winning start, so I was expecting a bit of a false start. Meanwhile, Darmstadt against Jahn Regensburg also went in the away team on this one. Jahn Regensburg to open up their account with the win. Darmstadt with a defeat. Heidenheim opened up with a 0-0 draw against Paderborn. I went with a 2-1 win for Paderborn on this one. I thought a bit more about them this time around. Dynamo Dresden did beat Ingolstadt. I went with a draw on that one, 1-1 in the end. 3-0 was the final score. Hansa Rostock against Karlsruher SC. I went with a 3-1 win. 3-1 was the final score. I went with a 1-0 win for Hansa Rostock. Werder Bremen could only muster a point against Hannover 96. I went with a 2-0 win for Werder Bremen. St. Pauli also got off to a flyer with a 3-0 win over Holstein Kiel. And of course, Nürnberg and Erzgebirge Aue, they drew 0-0. 2-1 win for me. Got that one wrong. And SV Sandhausen, they also lost to Düsseldorf in the end. 1-1 for me in the end. Of course, as you can see, I got myself 2, which is not great. But guess what? I'm not on my own on this regard. This is the table as it stands after day 1 match with Dynamo Dresden. If the season was to end today, Dynamo Dresden, St. Pauli would go up, and of course there would be something about a playoff to see who goes through to join them as well. That's the state of play. Of course, it is early days, and you wouldn't read too much into this, and of course it does suck losing on opening day, but Schalke need to bounce back, and they need to bounce back quick. Meanwhile, as for the leaderboard, of course it is very, very early in the prediction league, so you can get yourself stuck into this one. Of course, Tom Stainer leads the charge at the moment with 4 out of 9, not too shabby. Of course, Alex Weller not too shabby as well. Winky up the mix as well with Hans Wurst, Omar Esquivel, Nanakem, Gaming Charlie, Queen City Soccer Report, Keaton Early, JSPC, Ahmad Hussein, Craney the Gamer, Mike Gallagher, Shane O'Donnell, and Carl McGuckin are all in there with 2, just like me. Yannick Boston and T-Back the Great also in the mix as well. But it is early doors, and that's how we do it. Of course, we've got to get in there nice and early, get the benchmark, get the wheels rolling, of course, because it can be difficult to play keep up as we get into the thick of things. Anyway, match number 2 is right around the corner, so let's get cracking and have a little look at it. Now, before we jump into the deep end, here is, of course, the old QR code and, of course, the link if you want to get involved with match number 2 predictions. It's 2 Bundes 2 with Cutley in front of it. And of course, hopefully it'll be in the description as well, so if you want to just click it, you can do just that. And again, I am working on a way to just have one link so you can just go to it week by week. But we'll see about that. Anyway, let's get cracking this show. Of course, next round of matches kicking it all off. All right then, folks, we'll be with the second round of matches kicking it all off with Karlsruher up against SV Darmstadt. That's right, taking place on the 30th of July at the Waldpark Stadion. That's right, of course, Karlsruher managed by Christian Ichner up against Darmstadt's Torsten Liebeknecht. Of course, the position of 10 times since 2012. 6 wins for Karlsruher, 2 wins for Darmstadt, and 2 draws. The biggest win for Karlsruher was a 3-0 win compared to the 7-goal thriller received by Darmstadt with a 4-3 win over Karlsruher. Of course, Karlsruher scored 14 goals compared to the 6 by Darmstadt in those 10 matches with a 1.40 goal-to-game ratio compared to the 0.6 goals-to-game ratio. Karlsruhe, though, haven't lost any of the last 6 home matches. Darmstadt have actually lost none of the last 7 away matches, so it could be a difficult one, this one, to see who will come out on top. Of course, what do we have in the table? Of course, after the opening day, Karlsruhe kicked themselves off with a win. As for Darmstadt, they kicked themselves off with a defeat, so they'll try and bounce back. Of course, quick time of asking. I do not have the bookies odds on this one, so I'm just trying to find them right here right now. I don't know why I don't have the bookies odds. But for me, I'm going to go with Karlsruhe after opening day one. They're bringing it back home for the second round of matches, of course, and I think they'll go out with a win. 2-1 in the end over Darmstadt to get 2 wins from 2. Next up, of course, we have Paderborn up against Nürnberg. That's right, of course, taking place on the 30th of July as well at the Bentner Arena. Of course, Paderborn managed by Lukas Kovacic up against Nürnberg's Robert Klaus. That's right, played the 5 times in 2006, 5 wins out of 5 for Nürnberg. Of course, with Nürnberg scoring 9 goals compared to the 3 goals scored by Paderborn, which is around about 0.6 goals game ratio for Paderborn, 1.80 goals game ratio for Nürnberg. Heading into this, of course, the place of the last round 2-1 win for Nürnberg in the Zweite Bundesliga. That was back in April 2021. That was in Nürnberg. Last time I played it in Paderborn was a 2-0 win as well. Of course, heading into this, Paderborn opened up with a 0-0 draw against Heidenheim. Nürnberg also opened up with a 0-0 draw against Erzgebirge Aue. Of course, the bookies odds on this one have Paderborn 6-5 on for the victory, 5-2 is your draw, and 9-5 is your long shots. That is Nürnberg. For me, I'm going to go with Paderborn to take the to win on this one, to make it a second day win for them, to make it get themselves in the thick of things already over in the table. Next, of course, Hannover 96, that's right, up against Hansa Rostock. Of course, 2 names from the past. They've played each other 13 times since 1993. Of course, 7 wins for Hannover, 4 wins for Hansa Rostock, and 2 draws. Of course, the biggest win for Hannover over Rostock was a 5-0 win. The biggest win for Rostock over Hannover was a 3-0 win. Hannover actually scored 26 goals compared to the 17 scored by Rostock over those 13 matches. Heading into this, they played each other 0-0 back in friendly back in 2019. Last time they played each other though in the league was in the Bundesliga in 2008. It was a 3-0 win for Hannover in Hannover. Of course, the bookies odds on this one, we have 5-4 on for Hannover, 11-4 is your draw, and 10-3 is your Hansa Rostock on this one. Going to go with Hannover at home on this one. No brainer, 2-0 in the end to give themselves a nice win in the front of the home faithful, of course. Next up, we have Jahn Regensburg up against SV Sandhausen. Where is that game? Goodness gracious me, where are all the bloody games? There it is, of course. Played each other over the course of time, and since 2007, 22 times. 6 wins for Regensburg, 8 wins for Sandhausen, 8 draws. Of course, Stefan Kulovic is your manager for Sandhausen, and Mirza Zambelovic is your manager for Jahn Regensburg. Taking place at the Arena Regensburg. The biggest win for Regensburg is a 3-1 win over Sandhausen. 3-0 win was the biggest win for Sandhausen, going the other way. In fact, Sandhausen scored 32 goals compared to the 25 scored by Regensburg over the course of those 22 matches. And the last time they played each other in Regensburg was a 3-1 win back in the Zweite Bundesliga back in January 2021, of course. The bookies odds on this one, what do we have on this? We have 6-5 is your Regensburg, 12-5 is your draw, and 11-5 is your Sandhausen. Difficult one for this one, but go with the hosts on this with a 1-0 win to give Regensburg another win to get themselves the 3 points. And moving on, next up we have FC Ingolstadt taking on, of course, Heidenheim. Let's get into the deep end on this one then, shall we? Of course. Also taking place at this 31st of July, I've got the Audi Sport Park. Of course, Frank Schmidt is your manager for Heidenheim. Roberto Patzold is your manager for Ingolstadt. The players are 13 times in 2009, 9 wins for Ingolstadt and 3 wins for Heidenheim and 1 draw. The biggest win for Ingolstadt over Heidenheim was a 3-0 win. The biggest win for Heidenheim over Ingolstadt was a 4-2 win. In fact, they've only scored 17 goals over Ingolstadt in those 13 matches, where they scored Ingolstadt have actually scored 27 goals over the course of those 13 matches. Ingolstadt, though, haven't lost in any of the last 19 home matches. Heidenheim haven't lost in the last 3, have actually lost 3 in a row. Look at the bookies odds on this one. What do we have? 2-1 is your Ingolstadt, 12-5 is your draw, 6-5 is your Heidenheim on this. Going to go with a 1-1 draw on this one, put split right down the middle. And, of course, moving on to match number 3 for those. Next up, of course, Düsseldorf taking on Werder Bremen. Of course, a couple of seasons ago, this would have been a Bundesliga match, but now they're in the second tier. Played each other 10 times since 1995. 3 wins for Düsseldorf, 4 for Bremen, and, of course, 3 draws. The biggest win for Düsseldorf over Bremen was a 4-1 win. In fact, they scored 17 goals over Werder Bremen in those 10 matches, stretching back all the way in 1995, around about 1.7 goals game ratio. Meanwhile, the biggest win for Werder Bremen over Düsseldorf was a 3-1 win. They've scored 14 goals over Düsseldorf in those 10 matches, and of course 1.40 goals game ratio. Last time they played each other in the Bundesliga or in the competitive action was, of course, in Düsseldorf back in January 2020. It's a 1-0 win for Bremen. Of course, heading into this, the bookies odds on this one, 20 is your Düsseldorf, 12-5 is draw, and 7-4 is your Werder Bremen on this one. Going to go with a 2-1 win for the hosts. Werder Bremen not having the greatest start in the Spiders Bundesliga, but that's just my point. Let me know your thoughts, of course, down below. Kicking off for this Holstein Kiel up against Schalke. Of course, everybody's favourites for the title at the start of the season, but maybe we are giving them too much credit. Anyway, they played each other twice since 2011, 2 wins out of 2 for Schalke. Of course, managed by Dimitros Gramazodos these days. Oli Werner is the manager at Kiel. Of course, 2 wins out of 2. Of course, last time around was, of course, a friendly back in 2016. So they never played each other sort of in competitive action. Anyway, Schalke opened up the campaign with a 3-1 loss to Hamburg. Meanwhile, Holstein Kiel also lost to St. Pauli on this one. Bookies odds, 6-4 is your Holstein Kiel, 5-2 is your draw, and 70-10 is your Schalke. Of course, Matthew Hopp's over in the Gold Cup at the moment with the United States, so he's not there. I've actually gone with Schalke on this one. I believe a win is coming. Will it be now? We'll have to wait and see. So 1-0 in the end for Schalke over Holstein Kiel. Next up we have Hamburger SV up against Dynamo Dresden, which could be a tasty match taking place on Sunday, August the 1st. Of course, played each other 13 times since 1992, 6 wins for Hamburg, 2 wins for Dresden, and 5 draws. Of course, in those 6 wins, of course, the biggest win was a 1-0 win for Hamburger SV. Meanwhile, the biggest win for Dresden over Hamburger was a 4-0 win, of course, scoring 15 goals compared to their 14. Heading into this, last time played was a 4-1 win in the DFB Pokal in Dresden. However, last time played in Hamburg was in the Zweite Bundesliga back in November 2019. It was a 2-1 win for Hamburger SV. Of course, the bookies odds on this one's 30-8 on is your Hamburg, 40-5 is your draw, and 92 is your Dynamo Dresden on this one. Going to go with a 2-1 win for Hamburger SV to take the W, and of course, get themselves in the thick of things already. Early days. Into the final match, it's Erzgebirge Aue taking on FC St. Pauli. That's right, taking place on, of course, Sunday, August the 1st as well. The play each other since 2007, 21 times, 11 wins for Erzgebirge Aue, and 4 wins for St. Pauli. 6 draws, of course, between the two sides. Alexei Shipalevsky is your manager for Erzgebirge Aue, and Timo Schulz is your manager for St. Pauli. Of course, heading into this, Erzgebirge Aue scored 38 goals compared to 28 goals scored by St. Pauli between the two sides, which is around about 1.81 goals game ratio compared to the 1.33 goals game ratio for St. Pauli. Heading into this third place of the last time round in Erzgebirge Aue, hosts, of course, 3-1 win for St. Pauli back in April 2021. Of course, the bookies odds on this one we have 11-5 for the home victory, 5-2 is your draw, and 23-20 is your St. Bloody Pauli. I'm going to go with a 1 more draw on this one, which makes another draw for me. 2 draws out of the 9 matches, and that, of course, will leave us guessing as to who will be out on top over in the Bundesliga SWI heading into match number 3. Let me know your thoughts, of course, as we look forward to that. But until then, be sure to check the links out for your predictions right here, right now. Prediction League, match number 2, Cup League /2, Bundesliga 2. You know what the deal is, of course, the QR code right smack dab in the middle. But that's it, my friends. That is alles, as they say over in Germany. Do you think Schalke can bounce back? Of course, Werder Bremen, of course, opening up with a draw, but can they get their first win of the campaign this coming weekend? Let me know your thoughts, of course, down below. And of course, I look forward to seeing your predictions as well. Until then, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, give the video some love, and smash that bad boy up there. And I'll see you soon for the next one, whenever that is.